Welcome back to my channel. I'm Maggie Ostara, and I'm delighted that you're here. Welcome, welcome if you're here for the first time. Today, we're going to talk about the transit of the sun and the earth that begins on Thursday, May 9th. And we're continuing one of the major themes that we've got going on of the knowing circuit. In fact, the sun and the earth are both in the knowing circuit starting with this transit. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that. And if you haven't had a chance to look at the major themes video for this month, I encourage you to go check it out here because it really gives a comprehensive view of the major things. And then we'll diving into them more specifically with the sun and earth transits as we go along during the month. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Just a quick note to say that we've got that 2551 lit up just for a few more days. The North Node's going to move out of that 51 on May 10th. So make the best of it during these couple of days if you haven't already. I talked about this extensively even last month and also in the comprehensive major themes video, so you can find out more about that if you want to. Then the big news that we've got is the 4323 channel is being lit up by the sun and the earth this month. So the 4323 is right here. It goes from so the ajna is here, the throat is here, and it connects the ajna and the throat through the knowing circuit. So again, just like in the last transit that we had, and in the transits that's going to come next, is we've got two gates in the knowing circuit being lit up here. So the knowing circuit is individual circuitry. It's here to be different. It's here to bring change. It doesn't fit in. And this particular channel is super intuitive. So let's go ahead and dive into the specific gates. One thing to note is that because there's a complete channel here, it means that the ajna is defined and also the throat center. And like I said, the G and the will are going to be defined for another couple of days, but that's going to be gone pretty soon. So if you don't have a defined throat and you don't have a defined ajna, then you may be feeling these more than you would otherwise because you're going to have a consistent experience of them. And as we look at the individual gates, we'll get more of a sense of what the quality of that energy is. So the earth is guiding up the gate 43. The 43, the genius freak gate. That's what it's colloquially called, is the genius freak gate. And it's not because it's an accurate characterization of what is being expressed through that 43. It's because of how people respond to it. So let's go back to the knowing circuit here for a second. So the knowing circuit's plugged directly into superconsciousness, right? And it is, like I said, it's highly intuitive. And the downloads that come in through that knowing circuit, and in particular come in through that 43, are really out of the box. They're leading edge. They're new ideas. They're epiphanies that are coming from that creative intelligence of the universe. They're not something that we made up with our own minds, and they're not logical or rational or any of those things. So they can appear to be kind of freakish, depending on who you share them with, when you share it with them, and what you say about it, right? But at another time, with the right people, and in the right situation, when you've waited to know it's the right time, it can be perceived as genius. The spiritual information that comes in through that knowing circuit and comes in through that 43 can be pretty out there. You know, it can. And it's exactly what we need now. You know, as we are facing all kinds of challenges in our world today, as I'm sure you're aware, we need to think differently. Right? We can't move forward in a positive way using the same level of consciousness that got us to where we are. I'm sure you've heard that saying from Einstein before, right? Is we have to elevate our consciousness. We have to step into new possibilities. We have to see things differently in order for us to have a different experience. And so this is one of the huge blessings of the knowing circuit, is it's where the evolutionary impulse of humanity runs through the human design chart. So it's like the upcoming ideas, the epiphanies, the possibilities, the potentials are running through that knowing circuit. So my suggestion to you is when you are receiving things, you go, wow, where'd that come from? It might come out of your mouth. It might be something you just realize. It might be something that you draw. It might be a way that you see something and all of a sudden you see it differently, right? You hear something, you hear it differently. Somebody's saying the same thing they've always said. They say it again and again and again. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, what they're really saying is this, right? Because you get that intuition about what's going on. So this 43 and the 23 also are very much about our ability to be receiving those. The 43 receives them, and then the 23 expresses them. Let's go ahead and talk about that 23 a little bit, because that's what the sun is lighting up. So the 23 in traditional human design is known as assimilation and transmission in quantum human design. And the reason it's called assimilation, I think, is it's like, okay, how are we going to assimilate these really leading edge ideas that are coming in? So if they're coming in directly, right, from that 6124 and then the 4323 coming right in through that knowing circuit, then it's the job, if you will, of the 23 to transmit the out of the box leading edge, the ideas that are coming in through that knowing circuit. I don't really use that word because I think assimilation often means taking out the radical potential. Taking out the radical potential. Let's just assimilate. It's what people who come from a different background, they have a different skin color, a different gender identity or whatever, right? Just some way in which they are divergent. They are different, right? What do they want to do in order to make their lives work? Sometimes they try to assimilate. They try to fit in. They try to be like the majority, but they're not. And so I don't really like the word assimilation. I don't think that's what this is about. I think this is much more about expression and transmission, which is why I like the quantum human design name better. And also, we don't really want to assimilate the out of the box ideas we get through the knowing circuit. We might want to integrate them, but not so much assimilate. So while this channel is being lit up by the sun and the earth, we all have an incredible opportunity to be receiving and also expressing and transmitting possibilities that, they might seem unrealistic. They might seem like they came from a different planet. They might seem really like, oh, that's not going to work. That doesn't fit with my reality. Notice if thoughts like that come up, right? My invitation to you is to grab a hold of whatever that is that comes in, write it down, make a drawing of it, talk to a trusted friend, and just see, is there something that is coming in that you're like, wow, that's really potent. I need to hold on to that one, right? Or it might even be, I'm going to let it sit and gestate for a little bit, and then I'm going to wait for the right time with the right people in the right situation. And then I'm going to bring it out because I want it to be received as genius and not as being freakish. Caveat. If you share and people find what you share freakish, just know it's probably super leading edge and it's probably very significant. And the person you shared it with just might not be ready, or they might not be the right person. They just might not be open to things that are really, out of the box. So just notice who it is who's responding and don't necessarily think it has anything to do with what it is that you're sharing, because with the right person, it could open up new possibilities for them. It could open a whole door into a new world for them that they could only get through you. This is just a reminder that you can get all the images for all of the transit reports for the month of May. I'll put the link down below. You just need to register for it, and I'll email you the link for where you can download them. And you can print them out. Grayscale, I would encourage you, but if you have plenty of printer ink, you can use color if you want. And it's nice to just kind of take notes on them, and then you can go back and look at them later. I was just thinking this was a nice thing for you guys to have. So let me know if you're like digging that and you're like, yeah, please provide these every month, because it's a pretty simple thing for me to do. I'm creating the images anyway, and it's a nice extra added bonus for you. So I hope that you enjoy them. All right, my dears, many blessings, much love. Bye for now.